Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Homewood City Council for April 28th, 2025. Welcome, everyone. We're going to start our meeting with an invocation from Councilor Andrus and then followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you can rise, if you're able.
If you will bow your heads and pray with me, please. For all the blessings of this life, we give thanks to you, God. We give thanks for our family and friends, neighbors, and city employees. We pray especially for those who serve in harm's way. May your grace bring peace and safety to all people. We pray tonight that we lead with strong hearts and gentle hands and generous spirits, with compassion and mercy, with wisdom and grace. May we reflect your will guiding all actions and decisions, and it is in your name that I pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Andrus. Mr. Segrist, if you'll please call roll.
Yes, sir. Councilor Gwaltney. Here. Gear.
Here.
Alamon. Wolverton. Sims. Here. Brandt. Here. Smith.
Here.
Nelms. Andrus.
Here.
Harden.
Here.
President Jones.
I'm here. So I believe we have a quorum. We have 8, is that right? Yep. All right. We have next on the agenda, reading of the minutes for the council meeting on April 14th. So I have a motion to dispense with the reading and approve them as distributed.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, move Councilor Smith, second by Councilor Gwaltney. Any questions, comments on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 8-0. Okay, next we have the board vacancies. I want to personally thank everyone who was able to handle the interviews. I know we had some great candidates, but I wanted to get a report for the Ward 5 Board of Education.
So I have to say, I know we say this every time, but we had 7 just absolutely outstanding candidates. Every single one of them could have walked in and done the job on day one. They were just delightful. We really enjoyed visiting with everybody. We had a very thorough, interview schedule, and we were all unanimous in our selection of Meg Lovett to be our Ward 5 Board of Education representative.
Okay, I believe that is a motion to approve, and second by Mr. Harden. Okay, any questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of appointing Meg Lovett, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 8-0. And I believe Mr. Wolverton just came in. Did you say aye?
Hey, it's also, Nelm,
Oh,
and
Nelms.
Julie
I'm
came in,
sorry.
so it's
I
9-0.
thought 9. There we go. Ms. Nelms. All right. Okay, next we have Ward 4 Abatement Board. And that is closing, that closed today, but we did not have any applicants. So without objection, we can carry that over to the 12th of May. Does that work? Or do you want to?
Are we changing our meeting dates? That
Yeah, we'll have that meeting.
Are we gonna do both on the
19th, yeah.
19th? Let's just move it back.
Okay, so we'll carry that over the opening to the 19th
I will be gone.
at 4:30 without objection. Okay, and then we have 2 at-large Arts Council positions. Those close on May the 12th, and I believe we have 1 applicant that came in today. So we encourage more people to apply for that.
President Jones, we also had a Ward 1 opening, and Shannon Schneider reapplied for that. We would like to, she's currently serving, she has served 1 term, and we would like to accept her application to serve another term for Ward 1, and then to leave the at-large positions open for another month if we could.
Okay.
I'd like.
I'm gonna need a little help, Mr. Seeger. So, the Ward 1 had already closed, because I don't have a note on Ward 1.
Yes, Ms. Snyder did
reapply, I asked her for her resume. She did send me an email saying that she would like to do it.
Okay, but we've closed the opening, right? I mean, we've closed the period for that, correct? Okay.
Was that today?
Well, we actually initially said 2 weeks on that one, but
Yeah, I just want to make sure it was not supposed to be May the 12th also. But I just I don't have a record of that one. But I don't have any problem.
did she submit
She did-
adequate information? Okay.
She did resubmit.
All right, well, I'll accept
Yes.
that motion.
Yes.
Second.
And a second from Mr. Gwaltney to reappoint Shannon Snyder for Ward 1. Any questions on that? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So I believe we're 10 now, right? Okay, we're 10. We'll try to keep track of everything here. Okay, so we'll just keep the at-large Arts Council open until that's when it's going to be closed on the 12th, the two at-large. Beautification Board for Ward 2 and Ward 3 are also open until the 12th at 4:30. So those are your, and Mr. Segrets, if you can send out an email to the council that has these dates and everything so that we'll know, what the deadlines are and all that.
Yes, sir.
That'd be great.
So
Okay.
was the application that came in today for the at-large Arts Council, that's not due until the 12th?
That's right.
Got
We
it.
have until,
Okay.
we opened it until the 12th.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so we'll just wait. And we need another one anyway. Okay. Next, we have, or any other board vacancies that anyone knows of? Okay. Hearing none, then we'll look at additions to the agenda. We have 2 additions to the agenda. Both of these are going to go in committee referral. The first one is, it's going to be 430425, request for consideration to create deputy finance director, the chief accountant position coming to us from Mr. Adams, our city manager. That'll go to finance. And then we also have 440425, request for consideration for Creekside Infrastructure Development Agreement, coming to us from the mayor, and that'll go to finance as well. That's 440425. All right. Are there any other items we need to add? Okay. Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as distributed?
So
As
moved.
amended.
Second.
Okay, that's moved by Mr. Harden, second by Mr. Gwaltney. Any questions? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 10-0. Okay, the consent agenda. We have one item. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Wolverton, and that was Ms. Smith, seconded that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 10-0. Moving on to old business. First item, 010425, request to accept quote to add Tyler payments to the existing agreement with Tyler Enterprise Permitting and Licensing, coming to us from Mr. Pugh, and a report from Finance, Counselor Smith.
Yes, the committee met last week and heard from Mr. Pugh. This is an added system upgrade so that they can take payments in the permitting office. And we voted 3-0 to recommend approving the addition, and the motion was made by Mr. Brandt, seconded by Mr. Waltney.
Okay, any questions, comments for Finance? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 10-0. That's Resolution 2558. 030425, request for consideration to pay 2 past due invoices for Big Sky Environmental. Come to us from Mr. Squires. Report from Finance, Mrs. Smith.
Yes, it was discovered that we have 2 outstanding invoices to Big Sky, who is our landfill. And one was from 2023 and one was from 2024. The committee voted 4-0. By this time, Mr. Harden had come to recommend approving the item. The motion was made by Mr. Gwaltney and seconded by Mr. Harden.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Any questions, comments on that?
Just glad we're paying our bills.
Absolutely. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 10-0. That's Resolution 2559. 040425, request permission for the city manager to execute contracts for Oxmoor Road Diet Construction. Coming to us from Mr. Smith, report from Finance. Mrs. Smith.
Yes, the committee met 4-0, heard a presentation from Mr. Smith, and recommend approving, having Mr. Adams sign those contracts. The motion was made by Mr. Brandt and seconded by Mr. Gwaltney.
Thank you for that report. Any questions on that? Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 10-0. This resolution 2560. 050425, request for consideration for council to appoint a temporary judge. Coming to us from Mr. Bischoff and Laura Roberts, court administrator. Report from Finance. Mrs. Smith.
Yes, we heard from our new court administrator, Laura Roberts, and they have a backlog on the docket and need some help getting through that. And she wants to hire a temporary judge to come in and help clear that docket. And the committee voted 4-0 to recommend approving that. And the motion was made by Mr. Brandt, seconded by Mr. Gwaltney.
Thank you for that report. Any questions on that? Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 10-0. That is Resolution 2561. 060425, request for consideration of budget amendments for line item transfer. Coming to us from Chief Broadhead. Report from Finance. Counselor Smith.
Yes, we heard from our chief about we heard from Matt, from Deputy Chief Hall, about some overtime that they need getting covered. So we approved 4-0, recommend to move the money from their salary item to their overtime line item. And the motion was made by Mr. Harden and seconded by Mr. Gwaltney.
Thank you for that report. Any questions for Finance? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 10-0. Resolution 25-62. 210425, request to upgrade position of Revenue Examiner 18 to Senior Revenue Examiner 21. Coming to us from Mr. Segrist. Report from Finance. Counselor Smith.
Yes, this is for Julie Hambley. She has been performing her duties as a revenue examiner extremely well, and she passed her test to be moved up to a senior revenue examiner, which is a 21 grade as opposed to an 18, and we approved that wholeheartedly, 4-0. Motion made by Mr. Brandt and seconded by Mr. Harden.
Thank you for that, that report, and welcome, Counselor Alaman. We're on 2104. We just have a report from Finance, 4-0, for the Senior Revenue Examiner. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I believe that was 11-0, and that would be Resolution 25-63. Okay, moving on to 070325, public hearing set for tonight, April 28th at 6 p.m. for consideration of repealing the sign ordinance and repeal and replace the zoning ordinance. Mr. Smith, first let's get a report from Planning and Development. If we could get a report, please.
Yes, the committee voted 5-0 to refer this to the full council with revisions to the proposed ordinance to change stacking spaces per drive-through window from 5 spaces to 4, and to change temporary signs to 4x4 with a height of 6 feet. The motion was made by Councilor Andy Gwaltney and seconded by Councilor Andrew Wolverton.
Thank you, Councilor Andrus. I appreciate that. And let's go ahead and open the public hearing. And Mr. Smith, do you want to make any type of comments or?
I certainly can. I'm not going to go through this as in-depth as I went through it in the committee meetings.
Right.
So I'll be able to answer any questions. A couple of highlights, though. We will require a boundary survey for any improvement, so a fence or driveways or any of that will require a boundary survey. A courtyard, we talked about that in the committee room. A courtyard swimming pool would be allowed if it's within the boundary of the house. Changed personal service definitions. We are going to change the way and what we require when we review the maximum building height for NPD zoning. So for a new construction project, we will require an existing topography of the site to determine where the existing grade is at the front foundation wall of the proposed house. So once we get all that information and the height of the house, we'll be able to determine on the 4th floor how tall the house is. We made some changes to artificial turf. We made some changes for amenities in attached dwelling districts. We made some changes to vehicle sales lot requirements, the size of the lot, zoning districts. And then lastly, we are incorporating the sign ordinance into the zoning ordinance. We made the changes that we talked about in the committee room, and I can go through any of the other changes if you need me to. I'm glad you made it, council.
No, I mean, this is, right, this is the highlight of our council career. And I don't think you need to go over it unless someone would like, I mean, we did an extensive review and committee, so.
I do have a question. We
appreciate
do
that.
have an item on the referral agenda for special issues for next week. That's a sign. Does that,
Yeah, so that's the drive-throughs at Wildwood that we talked about in committees last week.
on Central Avenue, 2822 Central Avenue, Suite A?
That is.
Some of the signs there,
Yeah, I said it's on the referral
Oh, I'm
agenda.
sorry.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
that's what I said. So how do we handle that? Like if we pass it tonight?
this ordinance is not effective for a period of 5 days after
Okay.
adoption.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that will be our last one.
Okay, I think we need cupcakes for that. Okay, I'm bringing cupcakes.
But if that's the last one I see on
Okay.
the agenda, that's fantastic.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you for that recap. Okay, first we've opened the public hearing, so comments from the public. Anyone that wishes to speak, you can just come up and sign in. Okay, I don't see anybody running up here. So for that, I will close the public hearing. And are there any comments from the council before we have our first reading?
I just wanted to include that I'd received a letter from a Ward 1 resident in support of aspects of the zoning changes, specifically related to the topographical survey that will be required because they have experienced some negative aspects of not requiring that. I've emailed that to you, Mr. President, Councilor Andrus, and Mr. Sechrist, the city clerk. So it's to be entered into the record.
Into the record, okay. Got it. Thank you for that, Mr. Gwaltney. Okay, Mr. Kendrick, if you can have our first reading.
Yes, sir, it's an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance for the city, which is Appendix A entitled Zoning of the Code of Ordinances. Previously adopted by the city council, be it ordained as follows. The zoning ordinance for the city of Homewood, which is Appendix A entitled Zoning of the Code of Ordinances, was previously adopted by the city council, is hereby amended to read as follows. Set out in Exhibit A. Exhibit A is 225 pages long. Each of the changes that are made to the existing zoning ordinance are redlined, and they were published that way to give notice to the public. Section 2, April 28th at 6:00 p.m. is the time and place for the public hearing, at which time anyone interested may be heard in opposition for or in support of the proposed ordinance. Section 3, if any part or provision of the ordinance declared to be unconstitutional or invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, all other parts or provisions not affected thereby shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, the adoption of the ordinance repeals ordinance 2887 previously adopted on January the 29th, 2024, and repeals Article V entitled Signs of Chapter 5 entitled Building Construction and Related Activities of the Code of Ordinances. Section 5, the adoption of this ordinance repeals ordinance number 2886 previously adopted on January 29th, 2024, entitled Zoning Ordinance of the Code of Ordinances. Section 6 ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its adoption by the city council, approval by the mayor is otherwise becoming law.
Thank you for that, Mr. Kendrick. Do we have a motion for unanimous consent to handle this tonight?
Second.
Okay, Counselor Alamon made the motion. Counselor Gwaltney seconded that. Mr. Segers, if you'll call roll.
Yes, sir. Counselor Gwaltney.
Yes.
Gear.
Here.
Allemon. Yes. Wolverton. Yes. Sims.
Yes.
Brandt.
Oh, sorry.
Smith.
Yes.
Nelms.
Yes.
Andrus.
Yes.
Harden.
Yes.
President Jones.
Yes, and that passes 11-0, even with me trying to vote early and often. All right. And, okay, so that's 11-0. Do we have a motion for approval? I think,
Second.
was that, okay. Okay, all you're gonna make sure that you vote for that? Perfect. And Counselor Wolverton seconded that. And if you'll, we'll have a roll call vote here. Mr. Segers.
Yes, sir. Counselor Gwaltney.
Yes, sir.
Gear.
Yes.
Allemon. Yes. Wolverton. Yes. Sims.
Yes.
Brandt. Yes. Smith.
Yes.
Nelms.
Yes.
Andrus.
Yes.
Harden.
Yes.
President Jones.
Yes, and that passes 11-0.
And the motion was on, Counselor Allemon. He missed it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And that's ordinance 2933. That passes. All right. 180325, public hearing set for tonight also at 6 p.m. for consideration of an amended development plan for property at 579, 598, 701 Brookwood Village. You can see the PID to prevent proposed renovation, conversion of the former Belk department store. All of this is coming to us from Mr. Smith. Do we have a report from Planning and Development? Ms. Andrews.
Yes, the committee voted 5-0 to set a public hearing for tonight, April 28th at 6 p.m. and refer to the full council without recommendation pending that public hearing. The motion was made by Counselor Annie Gwaltney and seconded by Counselor Jaleel Nelms.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. And do we have any comments from the public? Or anyone want to, we have, obviously, this is another example. We went a lot over this in the committee. So I think you're here for questions, but I don't know if you,
Yeah, representatives are here to present the case from Brookwood.
yeah, you're welcome to come up. Yeah.
Paul Darden, I represent the ownership of Brookwood Village, FPL Brookwood. Appreciate the opportunity to come up here tonight to present to you all for consideration the amended final development plan for Brookwood Village. We feel like this transformation of a former department store is important for the future of Brookwood Village. We appreciate y'all's consideration of it. Our ownership is local here to Birmingham, is committed to the future. We feel like this is part of that future and that vision for what Brookwood Village once was, that we all know in our community and loved, and bringing it back to being that integral place, bringing vibrancy back and bringing back a vision, which I know Andrews has provided here on the Belk building itself. So thank you all very much.
Thank you for that. Okay, and I'll open this up to the public, and I'll just remind you, if you can come in and sign in, we need your name and your address for the record. So anyone that would like to come speak and address us, that would be welcome. So, okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Love, 1626 27th Avenue South, Homewood, Alabama, 35209. Thank you for your time, Council President, City Council, Mayor, staff. I'm here to speak before you in opposition of the currently proposed plans, as you all know, have read in the report that I submitted to you all. I have nothing against Pool and Land Real Estate, Fairway Investments, and their associates and partners. I feel that they deserve a better standalone site than what the current proposed site that they're planning to develop. If they foresee growth in the future, as far as rooms, parking, things of that nature, they're gonna need more room to expand. That's why I recommend the alternative site that I recommended in the report. My ask to you all is to consider having the developers engage the public, similar to Creekside District. I'm fortunate and honored enough to be a part of the development advisory group, where I just came from the Samford Horizon meeting with the public. And through this process, it's diverse, equitable, and it's inclusive, and it allows for us as a whole, as a community, developer, property owners, city, and citizens to come with a better outcome. In doing so, I'm asking that you vote against tonight's proposed item so that we as a community all together can come together and formulate a comprehensive master plan for the future of Brookwood Village site. In doing so, also asking for a advisory group to be formed to provide oversight throughout the entire process. I believe we deserve better. I know we deserve better because we are better, and we all can have better if we continue to communicate and work together as a community. I've reached out to the developers and property owners. We've agreed to talk, but I kind of feel like if tonight moves forward and is approved, it kind of sets things in place without further discussion taking place as a whole, as far as the community. Because I'm just one person with my ideas. Just imagine what all of us as a community can come together and create. So that's why I'm asking you, and again, I thank you for your time and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Love. I appreciate that. Anyone else here to speak for or against this item? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And any comments from the council before we have our first reading?
I would like to make a comment. I wanted to thank Jeremy. I know he has put a lot of work into the report that he sent us, and I share so much of what is in that report. I share the vision of the green space and the creek and the public use space. However, I am the Ward 5 representative along with John Harden, and we are sitting across the street from a big empty hulk of a building that has been empty for 5 or 6 years at this point. And we hear from our constituents every day for something to happen there. So we love Andrew Sports Medicine. They're a great local community, great local organization, business. We're going to be thrilled to have them in Homewood. Something's got to happen at that property. Do I wish that it all happened at the same time? And I understand seeing the dichotomy with the Creekside, which, by the way, has not gone well, having a huge, big, giant plan plopped down all at once. I think that has been overwhelming for some folks. So, you know, do I wish that we had more of a vision of what was happening over there? I do, but I also think that it is time to get moving, get something over there. I'm on that property every single day, and it's just, it's a, you know, I say it every time I'm on TV. I get interviewed all the time about it because it is the number one, as the mayor has said, it's one of the number one things he hears about. But that is a keystone piece of property. Homewood, Mountain Brook, Jefferson County, Vestavia, and it is time to get moving. So I appreciate everything they had to say. I agree with 95% of it, but I also know that I'm not the property owner. Jeremy's not the property owner. The only person, the only entity that can come forward and proffer any of that is the property owner, and they haven't done that at this time. This is the only plan that we have in front of us. Do not let great be the enemy of good. It's time to move, in my opinion.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews.
And I'll chime
Yes,
in on
Ms.
that, because I agree exactly. Jeremy, we do appreciate, I read your entire report. You put a lot of effort and time into it, and I do appreciate your thoughts. I also agree with Ms. Andrus in that property has been sitting there doing absolutely nothing for the city or for the community for a long, long time. This is bringing a high-profile client, customer, person into that space that will attract a really impressive clientele, and I think that will spur further development. I think that is the plan of theirs, that this will be the catalyst for further development on that site, which I think is what we're all hoping for. And again, if we could do it all at one time, that would be fantastic. But we don't have everything all at once right now, and I frankly am anxious to see something start to take place on that on that property, and something to get going and get moving, and know that something is gonna be the kickoff point to what comes later. So I agree with Ms. Sanders on that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Sims, and then we'll come over to you.
Thank you. And I would just like to follow up and ask in the line of Jeremy's comments, which has already been addressed, but also Paul or any representative with the development, you mentioned that this is a key project in the transformation of Brookwood. You know, for the sake of this conversation, is there anything else you can elaborate on in regards to that? I know theoretically, you know, Councilor Smith has just referenced, you know, how it will be a catalyst to future development. Do you have anything else you can share as far as that vision?
No, nothing specifically as far as the vision itself goes for the, you know, future of Brookwood. Do know that we hear all this in the collaboration. I know it's a big part of it, and that is part of what the next steps in the future of our planning are. This is just a big kickoff, a big starter to getting something going, as you said. You know, I think we see the opportunity in somebody like Andrews, a household name in our community, to come and kick this off with something local. You know, taking over what once was a vibrant end of that mall. And one thing too, I started thinking about Brookwood is, this is the start to the mall, but really Brookwood Village started evolving when it was redeveloped for an office tower, for a Fresh Market, and a Target. So this is the end, and it's continuing to grow. So, you know, this is just a continuation of that. Great, thanks.
Okay. Councilor Alamo?
Yeah, I think I'm very much in agreement with my fellow councilors, and also think that this is the catalyst, right? Now, we can't necessarily expect for the project to come fully baked, right, in terms of what the whole site will become, but that having a partner in Andrews that will revitalize that site is critical to what that site can become. And it's one of those, like, if you build it, they will come. And once we have a anchor, which is what Andrews is proposing to be, it will only make that area more vibrant. And so I couldn't be in greater support of this proposal.
Great. Councilor Harden?
You know, poor Rich Campbell's been working on this for half his career. And this was headed to Mountain Brook Office Park, and I remember saying to Rich, why don't they just go to Rich's? And at the time, they didn't want to go to Rich's, they wanted to go to Mountain Brook Office Park. So they're not going to Rich's, but they're going right up from there. But being in that business, the business I'm in, which is the commercial real estate business, it does take an anchor to show up. My vision is in Cool Springs, Vanderbilt bought a mall. And you go to that mall, and if you need to check into the hospital, you go to the mall to check into the hospital. You go to the mall to get PT, you go to the mall to get imaging. I mean, they really did a great job with that. To me, I'm not sure how well, you know, Vanderbilt's not standing around wanting to buy a mall, but you know, to take and start with somebody like Andrews, to me is a great, really first start to do something. There's no market for office, okay? Hotel maybe. We're not real big fans of apartments. What do you do with it? To put healthcare and medical in there in our town, which is a big medical town, to me was just a great approach to it.
Thank you, Mr. Harden. Anyone else? Okay. Mr. Kinchard, if you can have our first reading, please.
Yes, sir. It's an ordinance to amend the final development plan for the planned commercial district zoning district PCD 2 for the property described in section 1 below and Exhibit A, attached here to, previously approved on February the 3rd, 2015. Whereas the planning commission of the city of Homewood has favorably recommended the amendment of the final development plan as required by the PCD two district for the property described herein below. Now therefore be ordained by the city council as follows, that the final development plan for the following described parcel of property described in Exhibit A located in the city of Homewood, Jefferson County, Alabama, more particularly described in Exhibit A, B, and the same is hereby amended pursuant to the amended final development plan attached as Exhibit B. Section 2, from and after the enactment of this ordinance by the city council and its approval by the mayors, otherwise becoming law, the amended final development plan attached to Exhibit B shall control the uses and the restrictions applicable to the property described in Section 1 and Exhibit A hereof and previously zoned to the PCD2 district. Section 3, that April 28th at 6 o'clock p.m. is the time and place for the public hearing, which time all parties interested will have an opportunity to be heard. Section 4, the city clerk has given notice as required by law of this public hearing. Section 5, that if any part of provision or is declared to be unconstitutional or invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, all other parts not affected thereby shall remain in full force and effect. Section 6, the ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage and approved by the city council, the mayors otherwise becoming law. I do want to say that there has been one change to the Exhibit B, which is the final development plan, at my request since the last public meeting before the committee. I had requested, because it's required by a zoning ordinance, that this provision be included as a part of the final development plan. States as follows: the off-site parking spaces depicted as serving the Andrews project will be provided by the grant of permanent parking easements by the owners of the property where the off-site parking spaces are located. Such permanent parking easement to be recorded in forms approved by the city attorney prior to the commencement of construction of the Andrews project. That's a provision right out of our zoning ordinance, and I just ask that it be added so that when the time and place comes, we'll have an opportunity to review and approve the off-site parking not included on this site.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kendrick. Does that need to be part of our motion to add?
It's in the ordinance.
It's in the, okay.
It's
that's
a
what I
part of,
thought.
it's part of the Exhibit B.
Okay, wonderful. All right, do I have a motion for unanimous consent?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Counselor Smith. I believe that was Counselor Nelms. Seconded that. Okay, Mr. Seegers, if you'll call roll for unanimous consent.
Yes, sir. Counselor Gwaltney.
Yes, sir.
Gear.
Yes.
Allemán.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Brandt.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Nelms.
Yes.
Andrus.
Yes.
Harden.
Yes.
President Jones.
Yes. That passes 11-0. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, was that
It was me and Andy.
Smith
Gwaltney.
and Gwaltney? Thanks. All right, if you'll call roll for the ordinance, please, Mr. Seegers.
Yes, sir. Counselor Gwaltney.
Yes, sir.
Gear.
Yes.
Allemán.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Brandt.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Nelms.
Yes.
Andrus.
Yes.
Harden.
Yes.
President Jones.
Yes, and that passes 11-0. That's ordinance number 2934. Thank you. Okay, moving on, 090425, request to set public hearing for consideration to rezone 1601 Parkview Lane and 600 and 601 University Park Place, comprising Samford University's proposed Creekside District. Without objection, we will set that public hearing for June 9th. 100425, request to set a public hearing for consideration of final development plan for 1601 Parkview Lane and 600-601 University Park Place to include a diverse mix of commercial, retail, dining, entertainment uses, hospitality, conferencing facilities. Without objection, I will set that public hearing again for June the 9th. These are both at 6 p.m.
Mr. Jones, both of these items will be in one ordinance because you can't have proof of the final development plan without the rezoning of the property to the zoning district has been requested. So although they appear as two items on the agenda, I spoke at the committee meeting, these will be treated as one ordinance when published. So they'll both be published for the June
Okay.
9th hearing.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Yes.
There was a report today that they were changing locations of part of the development, and I didn't know if that was gonna if we were
I can
still
speak a
gonna
little bit to
set-
that,
set the
not
public
as much
hearing.
as you're gonna want, but, because
Right.
I don't have any
I
information.
just wondered if it influenced whether or not we needed to have the public hearing if they're changing
So-
something substantial.
Yeah, what you just said in public hearing is the west side. That's not included with that change.
Yeah, as I understand it, we are going to receive a new proposal for the east side. We have not yet.
Sure, okay.
So, but the west side is, as I understand it, not being changed. I mean, we're gonna receive the proposal for it too, because we haven't received that yet, but there's going to be a difference in what they originally proposed to the planning commission and what's being proposed now on the east side. I don't know, quite frankly, because we haven't seen it, I don't know whether or not it's something that we'll have to start over or not with regard to the east side. The west side will be allowed to continue because that one is not being changed.
So they are gonna be two separate.
Well, they're already two separate.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why they're separate, so there's an east, there's four things. Two of them are east side and two of them are west side.
Sure, okay.
The west side is the same proposal that came to the planning commission, so that one's the same, it moves forward. My understanding, again, from just the reports I've seen, is that the east side proposal is going to be changed. Whether or not that change is significant enough to restart it at the planning commission, we don't know because we haven't seen it.
Gotcha. And then the referral item that we added tonight has to do with.
That has to do with incentives that we also have not seen yet.
Sure.
But that we understand or it should be to the city sometime soon, whatever the request is.
Sure.
And so we wanted to get it on the agenda so that we're considering everything at the same time.
All at one time. Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Yep, good.
I just wanted to make sure.
Did you have something?
Well, I was just wondering if in conclusion of this conversation, if it means that we are not gonna set the public hearings for the east side development. If we're gonna hold on that, given the latest news.
I think it's fine to do that, or it can be set and then you open and close it but that's completely up to y'all, because like I said, I can't tell you what to do because I haven't seen it yet.
I think
It's
the request
possible
was to
that-
have everything within the public hearing, and if things changes, then we deal with it at that point. That's-
Because we haven't seen the proposal, I can't tell you whether it can move forward or not.
So, yeah. So I think, and all of this will be discussed in committee on the second. But in terms of the public hearing, so we've got 10:04:25, a public hearing set, June 6, 6 p.m. And then both 11:04:25, another, this is rezone 1891, 1919, 1921 South Lakeshore Drive, and 1100 University Park Place. That will, again, without objection, set the public hearing for June 6 at 6 p.m.
Night.
I'm sorry. Thinking D, I wrote it down correctly.
We're definitely all listening.
Thinking about D-Day, maybe. Okay, June the 9th. All four of these are gonna be June the 9th at 6 p.m. I apologize. 12:04, consideration of final development plan, 1891, 1919, 1921 South Lakeshore Drive. I've never seen so many numbers. And 1100 University Park Place. I feel like I'm going back to when Mr. Limbaugh was reading the VIN numbers. He loved VIN numbers more than anybody. So without objection, we're going to set that for June the 9th at 6 p.m. Okay. So that takes care of those four for the time being. 13:04:25, request to set a public hearing to amend Article 4 of the zoning ordinance of the City of Homewood to revise and update Section Z and Section GG relating to permitted uses of PMUD and beverage drive-through and restrictions. Coming to us from Cale Smith. Without objection, we will set that public hearing for a very popular night, Monday, June the 9th, 2025 at 6 p.m. without objection. Okay. Now, the committee referral, you can kind of see those. We've added just the two items. And if anyone needs me to recap what those items are, I'm happy to do that. They're both under committee referral. Anybody need me to review those with you? Okay. Good. Is there a motion to approve the committee referral agenda?
So moved. Second.
Okay, I think I got Counselor Allamon and Counselor Wolverton down here to approve that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's 11-0, that passes. Okay, moving on to other new business. We've got 390425, request for consideration for an ABC 070 retail table wine and retail beer for Brookwood Shell. Coming to us from Mr. Segrist. I understand we have both police and fire have approved as to having no objection, or no, they approve, and then we're looking for a motion as to having no objection to the issuance of this. Are there any questions on that?
Nope, I would make a motion for approval pending, well, we have police and fire, for approval. So used to having that.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion from Counselor Gwaltney,
Second.
and Counselor Gear seconded that. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 11-0. 400425, request to change May council meeting dates due to Memorial Day. Coming to us from Bo Segrist. And here we have, we're just changing the second meeting of the month to May the 19th at 6 p.m. I believe that we don't have to do anything else. We'll have double duty on the 19th. We'll have committee meetings probably starting at 4, and then we'll have our council meeting at 6. Mr. Adams, you're looking at me like, that's not right.
No, it's good. I'm just thinking in the future, we'll just publish 1 year-long one, so we don't have to do this.
Well, we always say that, and then we forget. So that's a good idea. Put that on your to-do list. Well, that's great. With all of the different holidays that we have, but this will take care of that. Is there a
A motion to approve that.
okay?
Yeah.
Moved by Counselor Smith, second by Counselor Wolverton. All right. Any other questions? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 11-0. And that's resolution 25, whoops. 64. Okay, perfect. Just want to double check. All right, 410425, request for consideration or approval of vouchers for period April 15th through April 28th. And I believe Mr. Gwaltney has been reviewing those.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I reviewed the invoices this afternoon. I had a couple of questions. They were all answered. Made one recommendation for future purchasing to use accounts that we already have in place, and that will get passed along to the appropriate department. Other than that, I would make a motion for approval.
I would second.
Got a second by Counselor Smith, moved by Mr. Gwaltney. Any questions? Thank you for your service. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 11-0. That's resolution 2565. Last item, 420425, request for consideration to sign Film Birmingham Partnership Agreement, coming to us from Mr. Adams. And I believe we passed around the agreement. The key part to me on this is that it requires no funding.
Correct, sir. No funding, and what it does do is it allows a partnership across the Birmingham area that people could come in, use facilities everywhere, and it's coordinated by somebody outside of us, so we don't have that labor problem also on top of it. Because when film industry comes in, I was at White Sands Missile Range. Many of you guys don't know how many films are shot out there. It's labor intensive. Yes, you could get reimbursed, but it's almost a full-time job for 5 people to manage that. So it becomes very good that we have somebody outside doing that.
All right. Okay, so we've seen the agreement. Is there a motion to approve? Okay, I think Allamon, and then I've got Gear. Nelm, sorry. All right, good deal. Any other questions on it? Thank you for presenting that to us. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 11-0. Resolution 2566. Mayor, you're up next.
Thank you. Just a couple of things tonight. First, we just talked about it, but I was going to raise it as well. I've heard the same reports that Mr. Wolverton was talking about, that there will be a new proposal coming from Samford for at least the east side. So I know we'll all look forward to reviewing that and deciding whether we think it's a good idea or a bad idea for the city once we get it. There also is, as we discussed, going to be an incentive request that they say they will be ready to talk about at committee. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they're going to ask for. But there will be one coming. Everyone recognizes that it's important for that to be a part of the discussion, so that everyone understands what that request is at the time that that y'all are reviewing the zoning and the development plan at the same time. So by next week's committee, I think everything should be on the table, or at least I expect it to be all on the table. All right, secondly, We Love Homewood is coming up. We'll have stuff in the park from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The parade will be at 6 o'clock, and then the street festival from the end of the parade till 9:30. So I know everyone looks forward to this day every year, and I certainly do, and it will be nice for those of us that are on our way out of public service to have one last We Love Homewood Day. So looking forward to it. And lastly, we got another Meet the City Manager Day coming up. This one will be at the Homewood Library on Thursday, May 1st from 6 to 8 p.m. So anyone looking to meet our city manager and hear about all the great things he's doing, please come to the library on the 1st. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, closing comments, Mr. Gwaltney.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will set public safety immediately following finance. I don't really have a whole lot to add, except for I'm kind of scared to see the We Love Homewood Day 5K and Councilor Andrus and Councilor Smith, maybe Councilor Nelms, taking off out front. So we
I'm actually emceeing the event, so I will be on the microphone for the whole thing. Yeah, so yeah, I know. Yep. Oh, I'll be calling you. You come across the finish line.
Besides that, I have no other comments. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Gwaltney. Councilor Gear.
Yes, so this is my first time back at council since the Yacht Rock event on the plaza, and it was really a good event, very successful. JJ was there. I don't know if anybody else, I didn't see any of you, but we missed you. I think they estimated 500 folks, and anyway, it was a lot of fun. We got a lot of good feedback. We're hoping to do something like that again. If not this summer, then definitely plan for an event or two next year. Also, just want to invite anyone who might be interested in joining the Arts Council to our second meeting of the month, Tuesday, May 13th at 6 p.m. here in City Hall, second floor by the clerk's office. So we hope to get that position filled, and we have some interested folks, so we look forward to doing that. That's it. Thanks a lot.
Great. Thank you, Councilor Gear. Councilor Alamo.
To commend the folks who put on the Homewood Color Run in West Homewood, and that was a fun event for the kids and a great family activity. Also want to congratulate our library for receiving awards. And Paul Harbin had been can't remember his last, receiving an award and being recognized for his efforts in Paul Doran being recognized for his efforts in being a great steward of our library.
Great. Thank you. Councilor Wolverton. Whose birthday are we celebrating tonight?
I didn't put a picture up, but but you know, when you have 4 kids, there's one coming.
I just figured the odds were pretty high.
And there's one that just came by. So I don't know about that, but no, I was just gonna say we had a great cleanup on the 19th a couple weeks ago, and so I wanted to thank everybody that was involved with that, Freshwater Land Trust, let's see, Beautification Board, HEC, Nick, let's see, who else was there? Osprey, yeah, Initiative, yep. And then obviously Parks and Rec was huge too. So it was a great collaborative effort. Provided, I saw high school kids, I saw middle school kids, I saw families out there. I saw Nick in a canoe. Yep. So it was a great event. Lots of good trash and cleanup happened. I even saw a coworker who lives up in Warrior who just happened to be walking the creek and enjoying the trail, but not a part of the cleanup effort. So I just think it's a great asset to have that in our city, and obviously I'm very appreciative for all the time, energy, and effort that went into making it actually come to fruition. So I think, let's see, I don't believe there's anything on my, was there one? I missed that, hold on. I know there was gonna be one or two. What's that? Okay.
Yeah, trees in the right of way.
All right,
You wanna
so,
have that
yep. You're setting public
right
safety?
after, yeah,
Okay.
finance, public safety.
So we'll follow, we'll set public works for following public safety. I believe that's it.
Okay, great. Counselor Sims.
Yes, thank you. I will need to set special issues, so I'll do that for after Public Works.
Man, it's a 5.
Also, Counselor Jones and I were at Edgewood Elementary today for the Liberty Learning Program. It was their concluding ceremony. Counselor Nelms and I were there for the kickoff. So just really a great day celebrating our second graders learning what it means to be a citizen. So it was a good program for them to be involved with, but also want to take the opportunity about Edgewood Elementary and just show appreciation for Dr. Tate, who's announced that she'll be turning the realm over to Miss McCullers at the end of the year. So grateful for everything Dr. Tate's done for Edgewood Elementary, and excited for the new Principal McCullers. Also just like to say that the Beautification Board will have a table at We Love Homewood Day. They will use that as an opportunity to collect some information and public input around the beautification plan. So they're coordinating with a consultant to have a map to where we can talk with residents about heritage sites, also some ideas for beautification in the city. So please drop by their table. Also, we'll use it as an opportunity for recruitment for anyone who's interested in filling those vacant seats at the beautification board. So please stop by. And then finally, Andy, you mentioned about the run. I'm actually going to be Jackson's pace runner that day. So he's going to try to take on the 5K. So look forward to seeing y'all there. Thanks. That's it for me.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so I do want to make an announcement. The Alabama Sports Hall of Fame is inductee class is Saturday night, May 3rd, for the older folks that may not want to go to the parade. It has a very Homewood flavor this year. Jeff Underwood from Lakeshore Foundation is being inducted. And then one of my best friends and my mentors, old Johnny the Iron Man Montgomery, is being inducted as well for all his Iron Man contribution. So it's, and of course, Scott Myers, I'd be remiss not to mention, Scott's a proud Homewood resident and a Samford fella, and he runs that thing. But if you've never been to the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony, it's a great time. It's amazing we have that here in our state. So thank you.
Thank you for that. Counselor Smith.
Yes, I'm going to set finance for 5 and just buckle up because it's gonna be a long one based on that referral agenda. And since we are approaching We Love Homewood Day this weekend, it brought back the memory of me and Melanie and Nick out there in the 9 billion degree heat all day on We Love Homewood Day last year, talking about the city manager.
Yay.
And thank the Lord.
Yes.
We got it done and got it over the finish line, and you are here. And every day when something gets taken care of, I'm so glad I don't have to take care of. I am so thankful that happened. So thank you, Mr. Adams, and I'm so glad we don't have to sit out there again this year and do that. But I'm looking forward to it as my last one, best one for We Love Homewood.
Thank you for that. Counselor Nelms?
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay, great. Counselor Andrus?
So I'm not going to set P&D. I will be at the 5K, but I will be the MC, so I will be on the mic all morning long, starting at 6:15. I was also at a creek cleanup, but it was a couple days later, so it was really clean where you guys were. So we had to go the other direction. And most interesting thing we found was a stool seat that was in the creek that got pulled out. So anyway, and a pair of boxers. We did find some boxers too. I, right now, personally, am working on our owl signage. We're also doing a sign for the blue heron and for the spotted salamander. And then there's a fish. I can't remember what fish it is. But anyway, I was actually working on that today. So that, stay tuned. That should be coming for our trail. And then I've also talked to the city of Homewood, I'm sorry, the city of Birmingham about doing a directional sign to the western trailhead, because that's actually going to be in the city of Birmingham city limits. So I wanted to let you guys know I'm working on that right now, so folks can find our western trailhead very easily. I will be at Edgewood on Friday for Alabama Days for Amber Broadhead's 4th grade. I always present to the 4th grade on city council and government. This year, Glenn is part of the presentation. So we now have you know, the presentation has changed a little bit. We have a new mayor, we have a couple new we have a new counselor, new president, and a city manager. So I'll be making that presentation to the 4th grade on Friday, and that is all that I have. We'll see you at We Love Homewood Day.
Thank you for that. Mr. Harden?
I have nothing other than tell you I will not be in town on the 19th of May.
All right. Okay. Well, just a quick report that the Homewood High School boys tennis team came in 3rd at state, so I was there. And it's all these rites of passage. It was kind of our last tournament, and you know, he's our last one. So it's been kind of emotional at home with that. But I appreciate the coordination of We Love Homewood, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Our last time to be on the float, or the last time for me to be on the float. So I look forward to seeing everyone there, and just look forward to the next couple of weeks. I think you summed it up, Counselor Smith, when you said buckle up, because it's really that time of year, and we're going to have to be dealing with a lot of things. But that's why we're elected, and people entrust us to handle these things. So I look forward to working through all of this together. So bear with me as I work through them, and we're going to make it through together. So I don't have any other announcements. So with that, we are adjourned.